Hey Bandidos, today I bring you an SMG build that gives you everything you need to run full-time out of cover. Shieldless. Some players feel naked without a shield.
Woo! Woo! We're streaking! We're streaking!
And it might seem crazy, but let me assure you, this build provides you everything you need to be successful. And with it, you can clear heroic content really fast, like
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
hit like if unique and effective builds are for you, and comment do the do down below to support the channel.
You can tell by the way I use my
Hey Bandidos, in the last video I gave you an AR DPS build that earns skill tiers on kill. This week we're covering SMGs, and that's good because these are a ton of fun. In this category we have the Hunter's Fury gear set, which is amazing because it gives you everything you need to be successful out of cover and in the face of mobs of enemies. It gives you fast time to kill power, armor on kill for recovery, and status effects for crowd control. It's sweet, but we're not using it for this build. Let me explain. Although Hunter's Fury is strong and gives you everything you need, it's reactive and built on conditions. It's high risk, but it gives you a high reward so you can stay on your feet for the next kill. Let's break down the required playstyle to its simplest form. You have to get in the enemy's face and kill them before they kill you. And most of the time you take damage during that process. So getting that kill must give you enough recovery to rinse and repeat. And enemies inside 5 meters of the kill are staggered for a few seconds to buy you time to do that. But in the open world, where we all spend most of our time, enemies like to spread out and they begin pecking at your armor from far away as you approach. By the time you get to killing range, you can be out of armor. And what if you don't get the kill? What if an ally does instead? Then you're really screwed. You were willing to take damage, that's the risk, because you knew you had the power to kill the enemy to get your armor back. That was the reward. But if you don't get that kill for any reason, you are screwed. Shields and bonus armor can help against this. This is a type of proactive resistance that Hunter's Fury doesn't supply. I'll just jump to the point. Everything Hunter's Fury offers is powerful, but it's all reactive or conditional. You have to be inside 15 meters to get the base damage buff. So you're weaker against enemies at 16 meters, which happens more than you realize. And to get peak damage from the set, you have to stack 5 kills, which can expire quickly. To get the status effect, you have to get a kill and an enemy must be within 5 meters of that kill. And finally, to get your armor on kill, you must get a kill. Obviously, the build I have for you today has almost no conditions and is a more proactive approach. I am using 4 pieces of Heartbreaker on this SMG build. Because it says assault rifles on it, some overlook this set for SMGs, but it's absolutely strong with an SMG as you can see. Instead of damage on kill or armor on kill, you get 100 stacks of damage and bonus armor just by shooting the enemy, which you have to do anyways, right? This peaks out fast, and for crowd control, we have foam, which doesn't require a kill. The best part, there's no range limit on this Heartbreaker build. Hunter's Fury needs the enemy to be inside 15 meters. Although we want to play inside that zone, we don't always get to. So with this build, we are just as strong against an enemy at 15 meters as we are against an enemy at 16 meters. And beyond. And that matters more than you think, and one of the reasons why I love this build. That and the bonus armor is so easy to get, it's ridiculous. And in this game, I've noticed bonus armor gives players way more confidence than heals do. Even more confidence than armor on kill does. It basically turns you into a tank. You can add more bonus armor to Hunter's Fury, of course, in a variety of ways, but I think Heartbreaker bonus armor is the best there is. So let's run through the build. So for starters, I'm using Technician, and really I'm using it because I am getting a laser pointer that I need to make those Heartbreaker stacks easier to get. Other than that, we get a skill tier, which I really like for this build because of the skills that I'm using. using. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's jump straight into the gear set. So we're skipping the 2-piece bonus, and trust me, we don't miss it. That's just additive damage. It's really not that much damage. It's equal to a red core, I get that, but it's really easy to supplement damage elsewhere to still feel powerful. 3 pieces gets us 15% weapon handling. Very helpful for playing out of cover, for landing more shots, but also improves our reload speed. And 4 pieces gives us Heart Stopper. So basically, when enemies are pulsed, we're gonna get 1% weapon damage and 1% bonus armor, stack it up to 50 times. But because I'm running the chest piece, we're pushing that to 100. So that's 100% weapon damage and 100% bonus armor. All we gotta do is shoot. And that's because we have the laser pointer on the weapon. So we're automatically pulsing the enemy just by pointing at him. It's that easy. Okay, so for the mask, I'm running armor and crits on it. For the chest piece, we got weapon damage and more crits. And for the gloves, I got armor and crit damage. And finally, for the knees, I got weapon damage and crit damage. Now on this build, we have 1.5 million armor. I wanted to run shieldless, but at the same time feel very powerful. And that's because I want to clear content very quickly. I want to be able to clear my control points in about 3 minutes, give or take. And having tons of bonus armor really helps you accomplish that because it is your shield. And so you can run out of cover and sprint faster, taking damage, and have a lot of confidence in knowing that you can get that bonus armor back really easy just by shooting the enemy, which we're doing with very high RPM weapons, so it comes back very fast. So I chose the Picaro's holster because I wanted both a weapon damage core and an extra armor core. So that's really why I chose it. You don't have to run this if you don't want to, but I wanted to have that good base weapon damage. And I got crit damage here, and the skill haste is helpful a little bit because we're running the riot foam and we also have the deflector drone. So both of those are consumables that we need to reproc over and over again. And of course, I'm using the memento. So the memento is a big deal for this build. One, we're getting a weapon damage core, an armor core, and a skill tier, and our skills are actually very important for this. I have crit damage there, but those short-term buffs are huge. So we got 5% weapon damage per red core, 10% bonus armor per blue core. We're gonna talk about that. That's a big deal. And a 5% skill efficiency. So real quick, we got 30% skill efficiency on this build, and that's really gonna help our skills. That includes skill haste, status effects, duration, that kind of stuff. So also damage or whatever, but we're not using that. And then of course, we're gonna have 30% weapon damage as a long-term buff and 3% armor regen as a long-term buff also. And it just turns out that that 3% armor regen is all the heals we need. Notice I have no other heals. So this is a defender drone, and then this is riot foam. So I have no other heals on this build. No armor on kill, no repair skills. It's only the 3% armor regen. And that's because we got, if you count the cores, 10, 20, 30, 40. We're getting 40% bonus armor on kill. Okay, so there is an on kill, that's a condition. So there is a condition, but it's extra bonus armor. Remember, we're getting 100 stacks of bonus armor just by shooting the enemy. So that's 100% bonus armor, right? Which is 1.5 million in bonus armor. Okay, are you following me? So we're getting 1.5 million in bonus armor just by shooting the enemy. And then we're getting another 40% bonus armor when we kill that enemy. That is 600,000 in bonus armor. So from one kill, we're basically getting 2.1 million in bonus armor. Plus our 1.5 million in base armor, which is 3.6 million in armor just off a single kill. And many times we're stacking those kills and getting tons of armor. It becomes ridiculous from there. Let's get into the gun because this is an SMG, and I decided to run the Dark Winter. I really like it with this build. The fast RPMs really help you stack that bonus armor and weapon damage easily without always having to use that shotgun, which we'll get into in a second. I got crit chance, of course, the laser pointer, and you need technician to have that, and then more crit chance, and then I have the larger mag. And the Dark Winter is a named SMG that you can get from the Dark Zone. So it is a Dark Zone exclusive. You could also get this by farming named item caches. Okay, so it also drops there. The reload time is 1.7 seconds, which is pretty good. And we got Perfect Killer. So this is giving us 50% crit hit damage for 10 seconds. Okay, so you want to move quickly because that can expire. So we got 60% crit chance, 105% base crit hit damage. Remember, we're getting the 50% crit damage bonus on top of that. Okay, so the shotgun is also very important. It makes it really easy to get your offense and defensive stacks from the Heartbreaker set. So you guys should know this by now. And then it's got the laser pointer. This is the rock and roll ACS shotgun. So it's a named shotgun. It's also a shotgun you can get from PvP content. This comes with a larger mag. If you don't have this named one, that's fine. Just run the regular ACS. Now I got the riot foam. Look, we got 4 canisters, 4 ammo, and this is 2 skill tiers, and that's why. So we got a skill tier from the memento, a skill tier from technician, and then we're gonna have 30% skill efficiency on top of that. And then I decided to go with the defender. This defender Defender just helps that bonus armor last even longer. So the Riot Foam is really helpful against all of that, as well as it's got some range on it. So you can tag enemies with the Riot Foam at range. You can also pop enemies out of cover with the Riot Foam. And so it becomes very useful. I find myself using it all the time. So that's why I like this status effect over the Disorient status effect from Hunter's Fury, although it works really well. But remember, the enemy has to be within 5 meters of the kill for the Hunter's Fury status effect to apply to that enemy. And so there's many times where enemies are just outside of that and none of them get staggered. And the Defender also helps you at range, right? So you can pop that bad boy and if somebody's shooting you from far away, then it helps diminish the pain that you're taking from that enemy. But of course, both of these skills can also be run with Hunter's Fury as well as the Memento Backpack. When the enemy damages you, that 30% weapon damage is always there from the Memento, and you get the bonus damage and the bonus armor. You combine that with what the Heartbreaker does, which is give you weapon damage and bonus armor just by shooting enemies. So you got the easy just by shooting enemies, and then you get the reward, the high reward on kill from the Memento. You put those two things together and you got a very fun and effective build. And all you got to do is just go fast, which you have to do anyways for run and gun builds. For SMG builds, you have to go fast. You have to take good flanking patterns to survive, whether you're running Heartbreaker or Hunter's Fury. As long as you're moving fast, you're staying alive. With this assault rifle build, kills get you skill tiers. Enjoy.
Follow me.